Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I've got 3 stories for you in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. I'll start with this one from the Crypto Basic. Top lawyer highlights 6 reasons why SEC v. Ripple trial won't happen. And this is perspective coming from XRP community member and attorney Fred Rispoli. Also, a key Ripple on-demand liquidity partner is ceasing a particular service in the United States because of regulatory pressure from the SEC. That's right, a Ripple partner ceasing a particular service. It is a cryptocurrency exchange partner for ODL. Didn't Ripple just, shouldn't they have more confidence? Okay, we'll get into it. And then there was also this headline from the Daily Hodl. Defense lawyers for former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried granted unlimited prison visitation. But before going any further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby, and just for fun. Into the first piece we go. Attorney Fred Rispoli has highlighted 6 major reasons why the trial between the SEC and Ripple executives may not hold. Prominent cryptocurrency lawyers have been speculating on the possible outcome of the SEC v. Ripple trial. And for context, the upcoming trial aims to resolve the SEC's charges against Ripple executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. Notably, the SEC charged Garlinghouse and Larsen with aiding and abetting Ripple in distributing XRP as an unregistered security. Although the court has already issued a summary judgment, it's scheduled the case against Ripple execs for a jury trial. It bears mentioning that the trial is expected to commence in Q2 2024, and the parties have already provided the court with their availability for the proceeding. All right, so we don't have to worry about what's happening with Ripple broadly speaking. I understand there's on the radar this idea of appeal, but even if that's the case, and I've explained in great detail why in previous videos, so I'm not going to do that here, just as a reminder, even if there's an appeal and even if it were successful, that doesn't change Judge Torres' decision that XRP itself is not a security, and the SEC has already publicly stated, in a legal brief no less, to Judge Torres, that they will not be seeking appeal of that decision. So it would only impact specific XRP transactions from Ripple. That's it. So we don't have to worry about that. But then what about the nonsense that's happening with the executives here? And this is what largely what attorney Fred Rispoli is getting at. And here's what he had to say. Many out there speculate the Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larsen trial won't happen. For many reasons, I agree. First, it's painfully obvious that suing those two initially was only to pressure Ripple into a weak settlement position. And so you can pause to understand why. I mean, pressuring the executives like this, I guess the hope would have been that even though, so there's charges potentially at the time before it all happened against Brad and Chris and Ripple's what they really wanted to go after. So they thought perhaps that, if you go after the executives would make Ripple the company acquiesce there. But that didn't happen. It was a bullying tactic, and it's disgusting, but it didn't work, and they overcharged, and for many reasons that we've been citing on this channel and in our community for over 2.5 years, it ended up backfiring. Because, I mean, the legal standards and information that came out that would otherwise not have come out, yeah, it definitely backfired for them. They were bullies, and it ended up not working out so well for them. But anyway, attorney Rispoli continues. Number 2 reason, imagine Hinman and Clayton on the witness stand, or any of the SEC folks. Even though it may be unfair, personally, I would have a field day trying those two to their role, tying those two to their roles in the Trump administration to a jury in New York City. 3, and so I'll just pause to think about that, of course. Just recall that Jay Clayton, former SEC chair Jay Clayton, he was put in a position thanks to former President Trump. And so if you're talking about New York City jury, probably not gonna be thrilled about that. I mean, not to get too heavily into politics here, but I think the point's not lost to me. I'm just saying that. And then he says, number 3, how do you prove recklessness as to institutional sales when those two can immediately point to programmatic sales as being totally fine. Number 4, the evidence of domestic sales versus international sales is weak for the SEC. 5, SEC just reorganized the majority of its trial team. 6, SEC is in back-to-back-to-back trials, then must jump immediately into this trial. No wonder SEC is going for the appeal. It has no bargaining chips left if Judge Torres denies it. SEC went all in, and if this Hail Mary doesn't work, well, it will be interesting to see how exactly the SEC tries to structure its loss. Where two companies sue each other, aka the government is not a party, it's come to settlement table time to stop wasting money on legal fees. Because the SEC can waste an infinite amount of money, i.e. our tax dollars, it does have the benefit of waiting to the last minute, sadly. Yeah, and so I'll say technically there are budgets, and so, I mean, I've said stuff like that too, like they have infinite money. Now, technically, yes, they do have budgets, so they can't just literally waste infinite money. But it's not their money, so they don't give a damn. It's the government, right? So they don't care. It's not their money. If it's just blowing out money because they've got their own egos and their arrogance, they'll just do whatever. They don't care. So I do think the concept of what Attorney Rispoli is saying is right. And far be it for me to critique the lawyers out there, because I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on YouTube, right? Now check this out. My God, Bitstamp, the most key on-demand liquidity partner in the United States. They're making a move that is regrettable. Let's say, here's the headline from Crypto Potato. Here is when Bitstamp will halt crypto staking services for U.S. clients. The leading cryptocurrency exchange, Bitstamp, will reportedly disallow U.S. customers to stake cryptocurrencies from September 25th. The decision comes as a result of the current regulatory dynamics in the world's largest economy, Chief Executive Officer Bobby Zagata said. The world's longest-running crypto exchange, Bitstamp, will become the latest digital asset organization to halt certain offerings to American clients due to the hostile attitude from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Staking services, which is pledging tokens to help validate transactions on the blockchain network and later earning rewards, will no longer be available from the end of September. So, folks, they want to reduce your economic freedom and your financial opportunity. That is what the SEC is doing, unless you consider that to be protection. But I know that you don't, because you're a person that's not at the SEC, right? So this is, I can't stand this. I can't stand anything that they claim, not literally, but like so much as it pertains to crypto, the strong majority of what they claim, other than going after actual scammers, the stuff they claim is protecting us, it's harming us and reducing freedom. So absolutely not. And we can see through all of this, obviously. So as far as Bitstamp acquiescing here, that's because this is on a topic far different from what would specifically have anything to do with XRP. So not that this would have any sort of impact on on-demand liquidity specifically, but this is yet another aspect of what's happening in the world of crypto in the United States that from a legal perspective just simply hasn't been settled. So the battle continues. Like this isn't over, and yes, it's very clear that Gary's doing his best to make as hard a pivot as possible over to AI. He's publicly stated that. He sees the writing on the wall. This isn't going to, going after crypto is not going to be the big victory for him that he thought it was going to be. But we still have to deal with the remaining asshat prick attacks that are going on against crypto. But it's the degree to which it's going to get worse, I don't know. You can see the tide turning already. I mean, look, and I think the additional comments even from Congress after the Ripple case ended, that's positive. Although I will also state it's kind of silly that Congress is supposed to be in charge, and it's more like they reacted to what happened in the lawsuit when they're in. Congress makes the damn rules, and so it's great that we saw even some bipartisan support, in Congress as a result of this, and we have, and hopefully we'll see more of that moving forward. But I'm just saying. It's since they're the ones in charge, just make crap happen anyway, okay? You see what I'm saying here? You don't need that. Like that shouldn't be influencing whether or not there is bipartisan support. But that is what it's done. That's the net result that we've seen as a result of it. So I know it's silly, but hey, that's live, man. And I reported yesterday, and with glee, that Sam Bankman-Fried ain't exactly living the best life right now, and he's an absolute monster who has broken the lives of untold numbers of people the world over. So there was this headline: Sam Bankman-Fried subsisting on bread and water in prison deprived of medication, according to defense. And the reason he's only on bread and water is because he's not allowed his beloved cucumbers as a vegan. They're not really taking care of him there. He's served a flesh diet. That's what's been reported here. So I shared that yesterday. I have no sympathy for this guy whatsoever. He's an absolute monster. I understand that he's innocent until proven guilty. I'm just taking a realistic approach, though. There's enough evidence out there that he did this stuff, right? He has harmed untold numbers of people, right? Even though he's technically innocent. And so check out the latest headline. I have another update for you. Defense lawyers for former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried granted unlimited prison visitation. So just a quick update here. Defense attorneys for disgraced former FTX chief executive Sam Bankman-Fried are being granted unlimited access to their client in prison. In a recent filing, Judge Lewis A. Kaplan says he is granting Bankman-Fried's lawyers limitless access to meet with him while he's in jail awaiting his trial in October, as long as a 48-hour notice is given in advance. Quote, pending the court's resolution of the dispute between the government and the defendant concerning defendant's access to discovery materials in view of his detention and unless or otherwise ordered, the government and the USMS, United States Marshal Service, shall make available to the defendant, if he elects to avail himself of the government's offer set out in the last 3 paragraphs of the government's letter of August 18, 2023, the accommodations there set forth commencing August 21st, 2023. To whatever extent the defendant elects to meet with counsel in the courthouse cell block, he shall give notice to the government and the USMS at least 48 hours in advance of any requested meeting date, end quote. Okay, so the important takeaway there, and this is something that I brought up yesterday, because this is the major concern that his attorneys were bringing up, is that in terms of prepping for the trial, unless some changes were made, he wouldn't be able to do that, which would be counter to the rights that he is granted as a United States citizen. And here, this is the effort to make sure that able to meet with his legal team just as much as necessary, and that they have all means necessary to plan a proper defense, as he should be able to do. Absolutely, of course. So I'm all for that. That's not because I like Sam Bankman-Fried. That's just because I think that's what's right. Everybody, no matter how guilty, we need to keep a proper judicial system in place. That means even the worst among us deserve to be afforded the rights as stated by law. So I am glad for that. Not because I want great things for him, but again, because I want the system to remain intact, because on the whole, it works. No judicial system is perfect, but that's why all the people people are talking about Judge Torres getting paid off, this and that. And I was like, no, that's conspiracy nonsense. Stop it. And then we just let time pass. And what do you know? We got good news. That's because normally what should happen does happen, more or less. This is not a banana republic. I'm just saying. So that's the latest update. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.